I have Stephanie Rosa joining me today. I'm super excited to have you. How are you doing?
Doing good, keeping my head above water in this crazy time.
I am obsessed with your story, and I'm really excited for you to share it with the listeners. Your full time journey with Festival started like over 5 years ago when you officially founded Festival Squad. However, your career wasn't always in music. You actually started in a completely different field. Would you love to share your background with us?
Yeah, definitely. I started in the medical device industry and I just found myself in this really unhappy state. I had to stop going to music festivals for the most part because I just did not have the time to take off like a Friday or a Monday to make it happen. So I wound up quitting that job, leaving Miami, going on a 3 week road trip around the US, hitting different festivals and my first Red Rock show, and then taking off international. So I started in Spain. I ended in Tokyo, Japan, and the whole thing was about a year. I had a friend say, if you're gonna go to these different festivals, then why not start a blog about it? People are gonna want to read like what you're doing and where you're going. So it started as actually a travel blog where it was sights and sounds with Steph. So
Mhm.
sights was when I was going to see different cities, sounds was when I was going to different festivals. And I just noticed in the metrics that more people were interested in reading about my festival journey. Festival Squad was officially born at the end of 2015. And we've been running for the past 5 years, and it's gone through three different logo changes. A ton of different folks have come in and out, which has been great.
How did you start creating these partnerships? Because now I know, Festival Squad is at over 100 festivals globally now.
Just started to make a list of festivals that we wanted to go to. We were like, all right, well, let's apply to them and let's see what happens and what we can get accepted to. There have been a lot of festivals that have denied us like in the first like year or two. So when that something like that happens, I'll reach out to the festival and I'll say, I respect your decision in not allowing us to come on board as media, but what can we do next year so that we can get this media
Mm.
approval? So we've gotten a lot of feedback like that. Like,
What was your process like the first year? And then how did you make a business out of the publication?
when I was deciding to kind of transition it into like a festival blog, I actually initially thought that I would bring people on to Sights and Sounds with Steph. So I had a couple people that I had that wanted to participate in it, and I was introducing them as team members. And then I was kind of like, wait a second, like this doesn't make sense to do
Mhm.
that because I'm Steph and they're not. And two of them were guys. So I'm like, that's kind of weird. I did want to make it more of a business. So I was like, if I can create a team, then that's going to be more of a business. Now we have a team. Which festivals do you guys want to go to? Those are the festivals that we need to focus on and work on and put
Mhm.
applications out for and things like that. So that started to like expand. I wound up getting Don Idio, which he is like one of the best photographers in the festival game, like by far. Like got him on board to lead a group of photographers, which was amazing to have him on. And then, yeah, we just kind of started strategizing more like, okay, like how can we make money from this? And
Mhm.
for a while, I was really anti putting ads on the site because I didn't want all these different advertisements to be on there. I wanted it to be more organic and more marketing and more structured. So
Right.
we started making money that way. And we have expanded now to ads that come from Google and whatnot. But the majority of the money that we've done has come from like custom campaigns where we've done
Mhm.
photography for them, we've written articles for them. And, we're just kind of like, we're a media company and we've got
Yep.
access to videographers, photographers, writers, like we can do whatever you need.
Yes. No, I love hearing that growth story. It just seems so organic. How did you get Don to join your team, and how did you expand the team to now like over 40 people?
Oh my gosh. At the time, I was working with a friend of mine from college named Brian, and our team has changed so much over several years. And so Brian was like, oh, I've got this friend named Don and he takes pretty good photos. And it's like, okay, great. Let me see his stuff. And Don, was just an average guy, brought his camera into Okeechobee a couple of years ago and was taking these shots. And I was like, these pictures are insane. So then I reached out to him and I was like, I can give you press passes. Can you join this team? Like, your photos are amazing. And he was like, yeah, okay, sure, why not? And it just wound up evolving, like you just said, very organically into this like very serious business relationship. And Don and I started working really closely together. He wound up coming on board as an owner of Festival Squad, started creating memes, building our social channels. It started like as a small team, and it started just by like trying to recruit people that we knew were really passionate. So a lot of the editors that we have on board have been through like Facebook groups of people that were really active that we noticed were just really passionate about the music industry and festivals.
How many years did it take for you to start seeing this growth with your publication?
After the first year, we were like hitting like 1,000 or 1,500 followers on Facebook. And, the next year it's like, holy crap, guys, we're almost at 10K. So it's weird because I feel like within the first year, it's really tough. That first year, you're spinning your wheels, you're working so hard and you're not seeing a whole lot. I think after about 2 years is when it really seemed to explode. But it seems like, based on the conversations I've had with a lot of people in this industry and specifically with like artists, it typically takes people about 4 years.
What were your pain points along the way?
I can't even tell you how many times I felt like giving up because I was like, this isn't going anywhere. Watching us like slowly inch to like 1,000 followers. Also, like the money that gets put into it. You're just like putting all this money. In the first couple of years, I put in thousands of dollars to like redesign the website, redesign logos, email addresses, like all business cards, like stickers, like all kinds of stuff to try to make it happen. And you're just like sitting there like, I'm putting all this money into it. I'm putting all this time and it's not paying off. But I'm so glad that I held on because, it has brought me into so many different things. Like Festival Squad is an online publication. And that's, my first baby, the first business that I ever grew. From that spawned Festivate, which is a full marketing agency that focuses on, social media strategy for events and brands, and then influencer management for events and brands. And then that has brought me into Fest Ticket, which is what I'm also doing right now, which is ticketing and travel. So it's just, if I hadn't have hung on when it was tough, like I would not have all of these other projects happening right now.
You are following your passion, and it's the hardest thing to do, especially when you are leaving like another industry or full-time job that you had, to follow your heart. So that's just really great. And I think like the biggest thing that people have to keep in mind is like, just stick with it. Like if you believe in it,
Totally.
it's your passion for a reason. I came from a world of advertising, and although that is kind of on hold, or was, like, there's still a lot more jobs there than the industry that we're in. And it came across my mind too, like I'm on LinkedIn looking for a job and I don't even apply. Like I've taken this long to get where I'm at. I don't want to backpedal into something that I wasn't happy in.
Totally. And it will unfold. Like it will. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things I've learned from so many different entrepreneurs across different industries is that like right when you're at that like tipping breaking point is when it all starts to really come undone and like things start to fall into place. But almost everybody that I've really talked to, I feel like especially recently, it's been a multi-year journey and it's been a lot of struggle and it's been a lot of like, shoot, how am I going to pay this? How am I going to make this happen from a financial standpoint? And then it works out.
How do you think festivals are going to prepare for the comeback?
So a couple different things are happening right now in like the short term. The first is that this whole drive-in concept, like limited capacity, cars are going to be 10 feet apart. Concessions are going to be like, ordered through your phone, and then you have to wait until your order is ready, and then you go over and you get it. And so like, there's going to be a lot of that. As far as like, trying to return to normal, it's going to be slow, just like with the restaurants, limited capacity,
Mm-hmm.
under, 2,000, 2,500 people, whatever. We're going to see small festivals start to pop up before the big ones do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're going to slowly inch our way back to normal. I think normal will only come when the vaccine is ready.
What do you think about live streaming? Do you think that's still going to be a hot like element of the music industry once we're able to be like in person again?
IVEX Live is a company based out of LA that does a lot of live streams, and they're now doing these like festival weekends. And now guess what? They're ticketed digital events, and they are charging like $50 for a ticket for like the weekend. So I saw
Wow.
that and I was like, okay, that is definitely what's going to start to make its way, because the music industry at large is hurting. All these artists are hurting. Like, we can't expect them to just constantly donate their time with nothing being returned for them. When we start to make our way back into like a new normal, which is going to be like limited capacity festivals, I think a lot of those festivals are going to sell out pretty quickly, depending on the lineup and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So what option do people have? That's going to be their other option is going to be to sit at home and join the live stream. The live stream is not going to be free. So it's going to be like ticketed lower capacity events with ticketed live streams.
Actually do like that concept of live streaming while having the also like in person, because a lot of people, they don't like crowds, but they still love music. So this gives them an option to experience it. And we're already like kind of acclimated to that idea anyways. What advice can you offer to people that are trying to get started in the music industry?
You don't quite know what you want to do sometimes too in the industry. You're like, well, I just want to be in it. So you got to start somewhere. You've got to pick something and start somewhere and see what you like and see what you don't like. Be okay with pivoting. Like, we all think that like the trajectory in this is kind of like this upward line, you're just going to keep going this way. And it's really like a roller coaster. It's like some days up, some days down, and then back, and then right, and it is kind of crazy, but then you start to kind of figure out what you like, what you don't like, and where you want to be. One last thing too is just to maintain professionalism, if that's the direction you want to head. I am not the same festival goer that I was 5 years ago, because I have to be professional now, and I have to,
Right.
I've got work to do. So it changes everything. So now instead of festing for myself, I'm festing like for others. Like, I'm working on it so that they can have the experience that I did 5 years ago, so it's a total change, and just be prepared for that.
That is an important factor that goes into it. I think that people don't realize is because we're in a fun industry. When you were like starting off, how did you set boundaries in a festival environment?
There are festivals that I go to where I'm like, this is my fun festival. I'm going to have fun with my friends. Those festivals, like, I'm not working, but I do still have to be very cognizant, because like, my face is up on the Festival Squad website. My face is on Instagram, and it's kind of out there. So I do have to make sure that I am maintaining composure. And then the rest of them, I'm like, okay, I'm working. It's just being aware of your surroundings, knowing who's around you, and just deciding like, when are you working and when are you having fun?
I appreciate you joining us on the setup today.
Thank you so much, Sydney. This was so fun. I appreciate you having me.